Good afternoon. To the back.
One up the top, please, sir.
Not so far.
The back, please, sir.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Forman. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Okay, all right.
Thank you. Dear photographers, thank you very much for your attention. Would you please sit down now? So you may also sit down now.
Thank you. Thank you. You are too kind.
So please sit down, ladies and gentlemen, especially the photographers. Please sit down so we can start the press conference. Hello, am I talking to a wall? Thank you. And you know the thing about the flashlights, please don't use them during the press conference. Okay, we're going to start now. Welcome to the 50th Berlinale, to the press conference, to the movie and competition Men on the Moon. And sitting next to me is the director of the movie, Milos Forman. Welcome. And it's his birthday, so happy birthday again. And the movie is great, but we have a question over there.
Forman, Marius Stegri from Enjoy Radio Hamburg. In the movie, I saw especially around the office of Mr. Shapiro all the time photos and film posters from George Burns. Had that a special meaning? Is someone in your team or maybe yourself very fond of George Burns?
Well, we filled the walls with the pictures of comedians which Andy Kaufman respected. So it had a special meaning for Andy, and that's why it was in the film.
Thank you. Any more questions? There's one in the back. Can you wait till we get the microphone over there? Far away.
Thank you. Yes, a question. I'm John Zumboulakis from Athens, Greece. During the film, there is a highlight in the film in which we hear, I think, the essential epitome of Andy Kaufman. He says, the world is an illusion, which we shouldn't take it too seriously. I want to know if you too believe that.
If I believe that, well, I don't know if the world is an illusion. There are a lot of things which prove contrary, but I believe absolutely that we shouldn't take it so seriously as to hurt one another for whatever reasons.
There's a question in the middle.
I am Fulvia Caprara from La Stampa Italian newspaper. What do you think about the fact that Jim Carrey hasn't had a nomination for this role?
I'm shocked. I think he deserved it. Because I know that it was a brilliant performance he did, and I saw him working, And I never experienced an actor who gives so much of his heart and soul and mind to his work. And well, listen, you know, comedy always has a tough life with the Academy members, and I think also that he's paying price for being too good. He's so good that you don't see acting. You see Andy Kaufman, you see Tony Clifton. You don't see the sweat of acting, which not everybody appreciates.
Thank you. We have a question over there.
Gregor Vosilos, Radio Berlin Aktuell, local radio station. Happy birthday to you once again.
Thank you.
Could you comment a little bit on why you did the movie on Andy Kaufman right now? What was so attractive? Of course, this figure is quite attractive, but why did you do it now? Why not earlier? What attracted you so much to do the picture?
Why now? It's, I guess, coincidence. It's no special reason why now. I was sort of flirting with the idea to do something about Andy for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, since I saw him for the first time and last time live, performing when he was starting, which was, I don't know, 72 or 73, in Los Angeles, there is a small comedy club which devotes every week one night to newcomers. You can go there and, you know, try your stuff, and some agents are there, might see you, and you'll make it, right? And a friend of mine, Buck Henry, took me there then, and then this guy came on the stage, and he had a little book in his hand, and he said something like, I'm going to read you now a short story about this and this person who did this and this then, and then went there and meet these people, and they did and this and this and this. And for 10 minutes, he is telling us what the short story is about. So we are there waiting, you know, big suspense, what will be the punchline? Well, the punchline was that he opened the book and read the short story. The whole short story, which he described in every detail before. And the first few minutes, and I was not alone, I felt embarrassed for him. I felt sorry for him. You know, this guy, what is this? What, you know. And before he finished reading the short story, we were all on the floor laughing, and I didn't know why. Well, that's intriguing.
Thank you. We have a question over there. Could you please stand up?
From Reuters, many film reviews have said that the ultimate flaw of the film is it doesn't give you insight into his true character. I wonder how you respond to that. And secondly, do you think the movie can fare well outside the United States, where Andy Kaufman was not really well known at all?
Well, you know, when we were working on the script and preparing the film, we tried hard to discover who was the real Andy Kaufman. And we talked to people who were the closest to him, like his father, his brother, his sister, his girlfriend, his manager, his agent, and everybody. And when we posed this question, we always got the same answer. There was no real Andy Kaufman. Nobody knows real Andy Kaufman. For him, the whole world was a stage, and he was constantly in a character. And who knows? Maybe there really was not real Andy Kaufman, or the real Kaufman was so boring and brilliant not to ever show the real Andy Kaufman. What do I know? I couldn't hear.
Can you say it again?
I'm sorry, the second question was, Andy Kaufman was not well known abroad. Is that going to be a problem when you market the film outside the United States?
That's why I'm here. I'm so curious to find out
That's another
how,
question.
you know, like in Europe, when nobody knows him, how it will be received and how he will be perceived. I'm very curious.
There's another question.
Question about Michael Stipe and REM. Tell me about the collaboration with them, and why did the film turn out to be the exact title when their song, Man on the Moon?
Well, the song, which I think is a very beautiful song, is about Andy Kaufman. And the song was written, long before the film was made. It was written, I think, in '92. But Scott and Larry, came up with the idea to name the film after the song. And so we contacted REM, and they were big Kaufman fans. And so they allowed us to use the title and to use the song. And when I met them, and discovered that they are not at all any kind of a rock and roll, crazy guys, that they are very bright, very intelligent, people, I asked them to do the score for the film. And although it was the first time they scored a movie, I think they did a wonderful job.
We have a question over there.
Ulman from Slovakia. I want to ask the same question, but I have another one. Using the words of Danny DeVito's character, when you are making the films, you want to enjoy yourself or the audience?
Both. First of all, you are the first and only authority audience when you are making the film, and usually, I always do things which I know that I would enjoy myself seeing on the screen. So of course you want to enjoy yourself, but you just hope that that you are normal enough that the other people will feel like you and enjoy themselves too.
There's another question.
Mr. Forman, Radio B292 Belgrade. I was wondering if this movie, I'm over here, hello. I was wondering, is this movie maybe a second part of a trilogy, sort of, after Larry Flint? And who could be your next inspiration regarding anti-icons of modern America? Thank you.
Well, I don't know if it will be a trilogy or not. I don't have my next project yet. These people are very interesting and very intriguing people. And if you don't find enough intriguing characters in the fiction you read, and which is you either read on your own or is submitted to you, then you turn to intriguing characters from the real life. And especially when telling the story of these people, you are touching also a little deeper on the psyche of the society you are living in.
So I would like to know if Danny DeVito was any help for you, because he knew Andy Kaufman. I would like to know if Danny DeVito was any help for you on doing the movie, because he knew Andy Kaufman from the set of Taxi.
Oh yes, he was helpful, because it was always helpful that we had constantly around us people who knew Andy and who could correct me if I was doing something which wouldn't be faithful to at least not to the facts, but at least to the spirit of the facts in Andy's life. And that's why I brought project to Danny DeVito, because first of all, I knew him, from 20 years before when we worked together on Cuckoo's Nest, and we became friends. And now he's a producer, he has a production company, and he worked and knew Andy Kaufman well, so it was a natural choice. And because I consider him a brilliant actor, I asked him to play the part of George Shapiro, the manager of Andy. While the real George Shapiro, whom Danny DeVito is portraying, is playing Besserman. That's the owner of the first nightclub who fires Andy.
We have a question over there.
Carmen Valero from the Spanish news agency, Madrid. I did not know anything about Andy, and in fact I found him sometimes rather pathetic and not funny at all. So maybe I do not have the American sense of humor. So I wonder whether you try to be funny with the movie, or you try to provoke a reaction in the public, like we already saw in the movie, a sort of rejection to all this.
Well, I share your feelings. I find him many times also pathetic and not funny and ridiculous, but I find him always very intriguing and fascinating. And Andy, he was telling about himself, listen, I am not a comedian. He even said, I don't know what's funny. He considered himself as a song and a dance man, if he considered himself song and a dance man for real, or if he just said it to say something, I don't know. But no, he is this kind of a very puzzling character, which you don't know if you should like him or hate him or whatever. What we know, that all he was after was to get reaction from you. Either make you laugh or make you boo. Regardless what you did, if you applauded or if you threw rotten eggs on him, he was happy. He wouldn't be happy only if you were like now sitting here just staring and somebody's falling asleep. Although he even didn't mind that, because when he wanted to punish audience, he read the whole Great Gatsby.
Okay, we have a question over there in the back.
Bulgarian television, what do you think? Are you going to get the bear? And I wanted to ask you, what's the main reason for struggle between American and European cinema?
What's the trouble with European American cinema?
Struggle. The struggle between the films.
Well, look, it's when it's dangerous to generalize, of course. So please take what I'm saying, not very seriously. But you can say that there is a difference between basically American cinema and European cinema. In American cinema, somehow you feel that entertainment comes first and the soul searching comes second, if at all. In European cinema, it's the reverse. Soul searching comes first, entertainment comes second, if at all.
Okay, so we have a question over there.
Je voudrais vous demander si ça c'est les premiers films McDonald's. Premier.
I wondered if this is a kind of McDonald's sort of film, and I also wanted to ask whether this film depicting what is shown on American TV aims to criticize this type of communication.
Si c'était le premier film de McDonald's?
You asked something about McDonald's. Yeah, my question was whether it's the first film we could describe as a McDonald's kind of film. If you talk about McDonald's in Europe, then it really is a buzzword for everything that's bad about America.
Okay, all right. Tell me in the headphones. Can I hear the translation?
The question was whether it was like a McDonald's in Europe being a buzzword for everything that's bad about America.
If it's the same bad connotation for McDonald's in America as here, I don't know. I must admit, I ate McDonald's only once in my life, and it was in Tokyo. It was not a bad word there, but I don't know. I really can't tell you. And what was the second question?
The second question was whether this film aimed to criticize American television.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't want to criticize American television. But what's in the film seems like that because Andy Kaufman hated not television, hated sitcoms, and it is an irony that he gained fame in a sitcom. He didn't want to do it. He considered sitcom the lowest form of entertainment. What was the most bothering him, and I must admit I agree with him, is the canned laughter, where you are told, now laugh, because or you feel like, you laugh. You feel like it's funny because you hear people laughing and you don't know that the laughter is there, laughter which was probably recorded when these people are dead a long time ago already. There are dead people laughing and make you feel that it's funny. But it's an irony that that series Taxi, that sitcom which he hated, made him famous. He is not a people's comedian, even in the United States. They only know him and love him as Latka in Taxi. 40 million people were turning the TV every time he was on, there. But otherwise, he he took it only as a stepping stone to some kind of a power that he can produce his own show, which he did, and which then, the network refused to put on the air.
Okay, we have a question over there.
Ruben Olet from Belgium. It's not the first time you've explored the borderline between insanity and brilliance. Do you feel that brilliant people need to be insane to a certain amount? And how does that insanity manifest itself in yourself?
I hope in no way. No, listen. This is a funny thing to talk about. Insanity is. From everything I learned about Andy Kaufman, there was no mental disorder there. Everything Andy was doing was very perfectly calculated. It was not some kind of on a whim of some kind of intuition or instincts or some kind of a craziness. Not at all. It was very, very well calculated. But he understood very well that insanity or seeming insanity is very attractive to people. And he wanted that. We know that his dream was to become biggest star in the world. Unfortunately, the fate was cruel to him. He died very young, before we could learn if he would succeed or not. But that was one of his driving engines to attract attention constantly, because he knew that, especially today in the media, when we are surrounded by media wherever you turn your head, that he has to do something to attract your attention, which sometimes seems to other people insane, because that's what people turn to and look at.
I want to ask something about Tony Clifton. Is there a real Tony Clifton or not? Is there a person called Tony Clifton, and is he really living?
Andy Kaufman claimed that there is a real Tony Clifton, that he modeled his Tony Clifton on a real person. But I didn't meet him, and as far as I know, nobody met him. So I don't know. But he claimed that, yes, that there was a real Tony Clifton. And, well, I don't know.
There's a question in the back. Would you please wait till the microphone girl comes?
I came late to the press conference, so if this question has been asked, forgive me, but coming from the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia, and coming from a society that was very repressive in the past, his type of personality or humor, I don't know if you view him as an entertainer, as a comedian, was that one of the driving forces that caused him to have an appeal for you? And do you think that his type of personality was able to transcend beyond an American audience or here a West European audience? Would people in China or in other parts of the world appreciate his personality and understand what he was trying to do?
Well, the second question I already answered. That's why I'm here. I'm very curious if, the rest of the world, Andy was never known, will somehow respond in whatever way. It's, I don't know. The first question, look, of course, it's, I am conditioned by the life I lived in a totalitarian society. And I have this great admiration and a fascination by people who have a courage to rebel, Probably because I'm a coward. So instead of me rebelling, I am making film about people who rebel.
Are there any more questions? There's one in the front. Please wait.
How do you feel about your cinematic life after this beautiful piece of Blonde in Love? That we really loved this work. And today, what happened to you all these years? Of course, it was very beautiful today, the film too.
Well, first of all, I don't like to analyze myself. I don't want to know anything about myself, because more I know, more I am depressed. So I don't think further I can answer you well. But the only thing I can tell you is when I look today back, I realized that as was ridiculous, as is or was ridiculous when, in a country like Czechoslovakia, they tried from time to time to make a film a la America, the car chases and fights and fist fights and yelling and all that, how it was ridiculous. I found out it's the same ridiculous to try to make Czech films, to make films in America a la Czech. Every film has to live in its own time and in its own place. So that's it.
Thank you. We have a question over there.
Ulrike Schröder from Hamburg, hello. I would just like to know, your film had been nominated for the Golden Globes in the category as Best Comedy, and Jim Carrey said, oh, I thought it was a drama. So what do you think?
Well, it's a little bit funny division, drama and comedy, because you have so many work of in movies or literature where you really, it mixes, where it's a comedy drama, when it crosses the border, and then of course that film, this kind of work sometimes lives in a limbo for those who need to put labels on.
So what do you think Andy would have said about the movie? Would he have liked it?
I don't know if Andy certainly would love you sitting here and listening to me. He would laugh, I think, a lot. I don't know if Andy would like it.
Are there any more questions? There's one in the middle.
Hello, Damon Wise, UK. You said you like Rebels, you're interested in Rebels. Is that why you like to work with Courtney Love?
Courtney Love is a rebel, yes. No, I'll tell you, I have a weakness for that girl. I love her and I admire her enormously. I admire her talent, and even more I admire how she is struggling with her life. It's really remarkable, And she's a very bright girl, very fragile girl, and she's a rebel, yes.
There's another question in the back.
Yeah, hi, Ralph Christensen, Denmark. Do you think Andy Kaufman at all took his life seriously at all? Yeah.
I don't know what his life was. What you see in the film, that's all what anybody could see. What his inner life was. Nobody has an idea, not even his father, not even his girlfriend. And there was something, but I think that's common for every great comedian. A lot of sadness in these people is. I don't know what it is, why is that, but you can detect a great sadness in the best comedians, and you can detect it in Andy. He very rarely laughed. And he did, because she was there, his girlfriend was there, she's played by Courtney Love. He really went to Philippines, and he really laughed at the joke which fate played on him. He believed that he's going to be miraculously cured. He believed that. And when he discovered that finally the destiny played the ultimate con on him, he appreciated.
Sadness then.
Again?
Do you think he was escaping from his sadness then?
He was escaping what?
From his sadness. If he's a great comedian, he must have a great sadness in him.
Maybe. I don't know. It's also, the power of these people, of these individuals, they have over the audience, when the audience, for these 2 hours, when the audience is sitting in the room, totally disappears the moment they leave the room. It's depressing. If you can make people laugh and feel happy and love you for 2 hours, and the moment they leave the theater, they are ready to, they can kill each other, that's depressing.
There's a question over there.
Mr. Forman, over here in the corner again. Again, if this question's been asked, forgive me before, but how seriously do you take the Oscars beyond its commercial implications in selling more tickets? Are you, as a director, are you disappointed in working with Jim Carrey as an actor that he was not nominated for a Best Actor nomination?
I'm not disappointed. I am shocked that he was not nominated. I think he deserved the nomination. No, I am taking Oscars very seriously for one simple reason, and only reason: gives you freedom, gives you more power, and more power gives you freedom. That's how it works in the show business.
To all live for Danish broadcasting, I'm down here. But you talked before about the difference between European and American filmmaking. Do you still consider yourself to be at least part European, or are you European as a person and American as a filmmaker? And as a European, are you free to look at American society, as you've done in your two latest films, for example, in the 70s and the 80s, in a freer way than if you were an American?
I am not my own shrink to answer that question. You know, if you want to hear a bon mot, then I am an American filmmaker with a Czech heart. But what does that mean? I don't know myself. It's no, I feel. Look, it's emotionally, people are reacting the same all over the world, everywhere, in every place. You know. The rest might be different, and you have to learn the difference, but that's not so difficult. I don't feel that I changed my approach to filmmaking, translating from Czechoslovakia to the United States. I don't feel that way. Maybe you see it. I don't.
Are you more free to look at America in a more, how should we say, unprejudiced way, coming from originally from over here?
I don't know. You know, the freedom is something which doesn't travel in a suitcase. You are, you know, carrying it in your own mind and heart, and you know. But yes, you can say that you notice things as a newcomer or foreigner coming somewhere which people who live there all the time don't even notice anyway. Yes, that might be a certain kind of advantage for the new look at things, but that's about it.
So there's one last question over there.
Do you know more about Andy's childhood than is shown in the film?
Sorry?
Do you know more about Andy's childhood than it is in the film?
It's yeah, I talked for hours with the people who knew Andy, his family and like that, and the essence is there. There is nothing too much more to say. Only the one little trivia to tell you is that that little girl, the little sister at the beginning of the film, that's the real life Andy Kaufman's granddaughter. He never knew that he had a daughter even. He had an affair, obviously, when he was a teenager, and that girl decided not to abort, but she gave the baby for adoption. And when that baby and his daughter matured and learned that she was adopted, so she traced through the hospital records who is her mother. And from her, she learned only that Andy Kaufman was her father. And now she has a daughter, and that's the little girl in the film.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank
you
you
very
very
much,
much.
Milos Forman, to be here. Thank you very much.